Welcome to Hidden Reality, where we uncover the truths buried beneath the surface. You know, sometimes it really feels like the world is moving to a script we aren't allowed to read, doesn't it? Today we're investigating a name that literally echoes in the dark corners of the internet. It's whispered in pop culture and debated in top-tier politics. Yeah, we're talking about the Illuminati.
Before we get too deep into our investigation, I need to share a quick disclaimer. This explainer is an original creative production by Hidden Reality. While inspired by public narratives, the script, narrative structure, and analysis are uniquely generated and adapted for this series. We do not claim ownership of the original source material. This content is for educational and entertainment purposes under the Fair Use Guidelines. Basically, our job is to bring you the facts, and well, your job is to form your own opinion.
So, are we really just pawns in a global game? We've got to ask this, right? Is there actually an ultra-wealthy, invisible cabal pulling the strings on everything from the global economy to the music on Spotify, or are we just chasing phantoms? The idea is that in this massive game of global chess, you and I are nothing more than pawns. But to understand the true grip of this theory, we can't just look at modern pop stars. We actually need to rewind and look at the cold, hard facts.
The real Bavarian origins.
To find the actual reality behind the myth, we need to travel way back to 1776, specifically to an 18th century state in Germany called Bavaria. Enter a guy named Adam Weishaupt. He was a German philosopher who was, well, deeply frustrated. He was completely disillusioned with the system, feeling that the absolute power of the monarchy and the church were actively suppressing critical thinking. He wanted a totally new way of operating the world, one based on reason. So he founded a secret society. He called it the Order of the Illuminati, from the Latin word for enlightened, because the core belief was that its members possessed superior knowledge and wisdom that everyday people just didn't have.
Now, here's the wild part. The original Order of the Illuminati had an incredibly brief 11-year lifespan before it totally crashed and burned. It started in 1776, grew to a few thousand members, but by 1787, it was completely wiped off the map. So how does a group that's supposedly meant to control the world self-destruct in just over a decade? The answer is internal betrayal.
Betrayal and the banishment.
The downfall actually began from the inside. A rebellious member named Joseph Schneider committed the ultimate treason. He wrote a devastatingly detailed letter exposing the group's most intimate secrets right to the Duke of Bavaria. And these revelations, they absolutely horrified the Duke. Schneider claimed the Illuminati legitimized using poison against their enemies, aimed to completely eradicate all organized religion, and, the big one, plotted to totally abolish the monarchy. For the ruling Duke, this wasn't just some philosophical debate. This was a direct existential threat. He instantly banned the society, making it highly illegal to join.
But it gets darker. The hidden reality really set in when the Duke's police raided Illuminati properties and found the smoking gun, highly compromising physical files. We're talking plans for a women's branch detailing medical methods for abortion, which was an unpardonable sin in 18th century Christian Europe. They found literal recipes for invisible ink and hard, undeniable evidence of active plots against the state. Faced with this treason, the Duke didn't just fine them anymore. He ordered the death penalty for every single member. The original Illuminati was systematically hunted down and erased. Period.
The 1960s psychedelic rebirth.
Okay, so if the society was ruthlessly wiped out by 1787, why on earth are we still talking about them today? Well, there's a massive gap in time here, 75 years, to be exact. For 175 years, the society was completely dead and forgotten in Germany. Nobody cared. But then something absolutely bizarre happened in the West that accidentally resurrected a ghost. Let's jump to the 1960s. Disillusioned youth in America, the whole hippie movement, were fiercely protesting the Vietnam War and rampant consumerism. They hated the establishment. So, to mock the authorities, a group of counterculture pranksters launched something called Operation Mind. It was essentially a deliberate, satirical campaign of misinformation. Their goal was to confuse the public and make them question authority by blaming literally every world event on a fake, all-powerful group. They dug up the totally forgotten name of the Illuminati and started attributing everything to them as a massive, elaborate joke.
But here is the major investigative twist. The joke got way out of hand. What started as a counterculture prank literally mutated into genuine paranoia. Writer Robert Anton Wilson helped cement the myth with his Illuminatus trilogy in the 70s. Then Hollywood jumped on board with movies like Eyes Wide Shut, National Treasure, and Angels and Demons. And then the internet happened. Suddenly, a satirical joke from the 60s was turbocharged globally, turning a prank into a terrifying reality for millions of people.
Symbols, celebrities, and paranoia.
Hidden reality now turns its investigative lens to our modern obsession with symbols. Because if you want a myth to survive, you need iconography, right? You need signs people can point to. The crazy thing is, the original Bavarian Illuminati symbol was remarkably tame. It was just the owl of Minerva, representing wisdom and intellect. But modern theorists completely co-opted different imagery to build fear. Today, people are constantly looking for the Eye of Providence, representing surveillance. They look for pyramids for that top-down hierarchy. They even look for the biblical 666, dragging the Antichrist into it. This wasn't the original society at all. This was a modern branding exercise, designed to make you feel watched.
And of course, people are always looking for confirmation from the top. When U.S. President Joe Biden said these exact words in 2022, the internet absolutely exploded. Conspiracy theorists immediately pointed to the phrase New World Order as the ultimate smoking gun, undeniable proof of an Illuminati agenda slipping out in plain sight.
However, if we take a step back and look at impartial geopolitical analysis, we find a much more grounded reality. He wasn't talking about a mystical, demonic plot. He was talking about massive, real-world supply chain shifts. Coming out of the COVID-19 pandemic, the world realized it was too dependent on China for manufacturing. At the same time, the Russia-Ukraine war erupted, which led to severe U.S. sanctions and forced countries like Germany to drastically alter their energy dependencies. The literal world order of trade and energy was shifting. That was the context. But, as we know, facts rarely stop a good conspiracy.
Yet, we have to admit, there is a chilling pattern surrounding artists who have tried to expose industry control. This is where the dots really seem to connect for people. Michael Jackson claimed an elite group controlled his narrative, faced severe allegations, and died tragically. Tupac explicitly referenced the Illuminati before his unsolved murder. Kanye West has publicly spoken about secret society control. And Jim Carrey? He mocked the Illuminati openly on national TV, only to face bizarre career blockades and personal tragedies. Whether these are just tragic coincidences or mental health struggles in a high-pressure industry, these patterns are absolute fuel for global paranoia.
On the flip side, we see a fascinating psychological tactic emerge: humor as self-defense. Some celebrities use reverse psychology against the paranoia. Take Beyoncé, frequently flashing that diamond hand sign. Or international star Diljit Dosanjh, who literally named his concert the Dilluminati Tour when faced with rumors. They just leaned directly into the joke. By adopting the symbols and mocking the premise, they use humor as a shield. If they're laughing at it, it completely strips the fear away.
The hidden reality revealed.
As we wrap up this deep dive, we really have to look at the psychological toll this mass paranoia takes on us. Constant suspicion trains us to see threats literally everywhere. I mean, it's reached a point of actual comedy. People will look at a perfectly ordinary, triangular samosa on a street corner and genuinely wonder if the vendor sold his soul to a global secret society. When a centuries-dead Bavarian society and a 1960s hippie prank convince you that a deep-fried snack is a symbol of global domination, the conspiracy has won. Not because the elite are controlling you, but because your own fear is. So will you let shadows dictate your reality? Ultimately, the most important takeaway from this explainer is that you are in control of your own narrative. Whether a group of global elites sits in a smoky room or not, if you focus on your own positive direction, your own goals, and your own moral compass, no phantom group and definitely no hidden geometric symbol can knock you off your path. This mystery has been decoded by Hidden Reality. We've traced the myth from the real 18th century Bavarian outcasts through a satirical 1960s prank all the way to the modern pop culture paranoia that grips us today. The true power lies not in a secret society, but in your ability to seek the truth. Subscribe to Hidden Reality for more deep dives into the unknown, and until next time, keep your eyes open and question everything.